Great risings, grand risings, great risings, grand risings, beautiful risings, prosperous risings. Lovely risings. All of those risings. How y'all doing? I want to finish my second half of the ages. I covered the age of Pisces. You remember that? I hope y'all doing well. This is Rafiki Simone. You are tuned into the Mystic Circle. I am your Mystic Mama. Um, Hey. So, y'all remember the age of Pisces. I brought y'all through the age of Pisces. I let y'all know that the first day of 2012 was September 12th, 2019. Told y'all how the age of Pisces was the fish age, which is Jesus was the Piscean avatar. I told y'all about how we went from the age of Pisces, which is believing, and then we're now in the age of Aquarius, which is knowing, right? So let me just finish this off because I did fill in this a little bit more. If y'all can see, like I've been doing so much that stuff has just been detaching itself. I'm getting right into it because I don't know how much time I have on my phone. You know, my phone will die. Just to recap, when the disciples asked Jesus, when will we be able to have the next Pesach or Passover with you after you then told us you're going to be, coming back from the dead, basically. He says in Luke 22:10, follow the man carrying a pitcher of water. Follow him into the house in which he enters. Now the pitcher, we know the pitcher of water, the man is the Aquarius. And the house, he's talking about the zodiac house, right? Well, the 11th house is ruled by Aquarius. This is the house of friendships, right? Unity, oneness, like-mindedness, social gathering. So there's no wonder why they're emphasizing social distancing. We're getting ready to start lifting lockdowns across the country. And one thing that they're still emphasizing on is social distancing, okay? The 11th house, we know that is ruled by Pisces. And the Latin motto for the house of Pisces is carcer, which means prison. This is where we get the word incarcerated from, okay? So we know in the Piscean age with the illusions and deceptions and different things like that, we know that there was an incarceration, right? Because there was a restriction. Remember the traditional ruler of Pisces is Saturn. So we have restrictions, right? Laws, rules, regulations. Okay? It really doesn't give it a place to grow. It's a teacher, but it doesn't give us a place to grow. But here comes Aquarius saying, grow everywhere, grow like weeds, grow like ivy plants. Because the 11th house of Aquarius, the Latin motto for that is benefactor, which means friendship. So Christ consciousness is created in Pisces, but hidden via parables, right? The end of Pisces, which is Christ consciousness, rises and become revealed and adapted in the age of Aquarius. This is John 14:12. Y'all remember I was telling y'all that I was going to be using scripture. To prove that there were astrology and astronomy in the Bible that was basically for this time. Keeping the scriptures in context, a book of spells, a book of astrology, a book of basically prophetic enigmas, okay? Not something to turn into a religious dogma and fuck people over with, okay? You will go from believing God in the third person, which is you go from Pisces age, believing God, third person. In other words, God being apart from you, okay? God being a person in the sky, invisible. We go from that to the age of Aquarius, which is knowing God, which is first person. This is where Aries comes in. I am God, okay? Or I and he are one. Father, Mother God is one in me. Pisces, which is a selfless, which means sacrificing and martyrdom age. Then we move to Aquarius now, which is self-aware. This is the salvation age. We have now moved into the age of salvation. Pisces, which is the Kundalini, rises to the Aquarian age right now, where junk DNA is activated. Remember, I talked to y'all before about junk DNA being activated, right? Some of y'all is in these chats talking about nothing, and I really don't want to look in the chats, because I'm trying to see if anybody has questions concerning what I'm talking about. I see a bunch of people talking about what I'm not talking about, and I don't want it to be a distraction to me. Anybody has questions concerning what I'm talking about before I move forward? Well, Siobhan, you saying it's too early. I said across the country they're going to be lifting lockdowns. I didn't say New York. Texas is actually have already implemented some liftings already. I have a girlfriend in Texas right now. We talked on the phone yesterday. So they're lifting up some things already in the state of Texas. Here, because, Arizona is the sunniest state in the United States. We get about 360 days of sun. They're most likely going to be starting to lift here as well. Because they just came out, they had to retract their statements and now come out and say that heat does kill it. So I can't speak for New York. I can only speak for what I know. Junk DNA is actually alien DNA, and it can be from the fallen angels. Yes, I understand. I've already said what junk DNA was on this channel. It seems like you're new, but thank you for your input. It is Anunnaki DNA, and it has been suppressed. The Anunnaki honestly really went into huge suppression of our God DNA, because in the Atlantean age, the Atlanteans knew how to still activate their DNA, and they used big stupid ass crystals and different things. I mean, huge crystals. And so this is the reason why Atlantis was destroyed. So let me continue, because I don't see anybody having questions about what I'm talking about. Pisces gave us heaven and hell, right? This was the religious dogma of heaven and hell. Religious faith, which is blind belief, special privilege, discrimination, inequality, and monarchy came out of the age of Pisces. And Aquarius comes to erase all of that which cannot be proven in this three-dimensional plane. Because remember, here in Aquarius, we're moving from 3D to 4D. Evidence-based facts is going to equal opportunity, fairness, righteous judgment, religious facts, and spiritual facts. This is what the Age of Aquarius comes to say. If you cannot prove it in the court of life, it's going to be thrown out. So if you cannot prove a burial and resurrection, it's going to be thrown out. So it's safe to say that Aquarius does not do away with Jesus Christ per se. It does do away with Jesus Christ being a religious fact, though, to kind of like bind people to a heaven and hell concept. What it does do is show you that Aquarius comes to take your you looking at Jesus as a one God Savior, it takes him from that, and it makes you look at him for what he was, a regular man like you and I, born of a father and a mother, who had a consciousness, a conscious movement. Okay, he was a Pisces, born on the cusp of Aries, but his sermons, his consciousness came to prepare us. He came in the movement of Aquarius. This is the reason why he was a bit, people could not comprehend him. Okay? Okay? We're off of the junk DNA, sis. Or bro, I'm sorry. Matt, we off of that. I'm not. I can't go back and forth with this Anunnaki DNA. I'm teaching something here. Okay. Thank you for your input. So we go from, again, Jesus staying in context. Because listen, remember, I told y'all, and y'all know, let me just speak this to people who know, I am not a Christian. Okay. I am what you call an omniist, in a sense that I do believe, and I know that for every religion and spiritual movement on this earth, there is some form of truth there. But I do know that lying on top of that truth is lies and deceit. Okay. This is the reason why I don't follow any religion. This is why I'm not bound to one spiritual movement. I am a truth seeker. I am on a journey. I am not to camp out when I get a piece of truth and make it into a religion. Okay? I am an omniist in that sense. Some people who are omniists believe in the other part of the extreme parts of omniism, which is they believe that all religions are true. I don't believe all religions and spiritual movements are true. I believe that there is some truth in them. I do understand that they're lies, right? Yes, Tennessee's daughter. Tennessee's daughter says that, and that's the way you see it, Jesus as another piece of the passage. And that's basically what it is. You got to look at it like this. J. Edgar Hoover, right? J. Edgar Hoover, when J. Edgar Hoover created COINTELPRO, okay? He said that the main objective was to stop the rising of a black messiah. Why would he say that? Why would he say it's to stop the rising of a black messiah? Because he was after the consciousness. He's after, and the deep state and the higher ups are after anybody who grabs a consciousness that will revolt and dismantle the powers that be right now. Well, we already know that it's already happening through an unlikely source, might I add. We're seeing it before our eyes. Some of you don't even know what this lockdown was used for. You know, one thing, and let me just put a little rabbit trail down here. Quick rabbit trail, because I'm going to get back on track. What if I told you that the coronavirus was being used? What if I said, what if? This is just a thought. I'm not saying that this is what's happening, but just hear me, because I got to talk in code here. What if the Rona was being used to create a lockdown to where everybody was on a mandatory stay home, stay in place? You can't go far, right? No traveling in the country or out the country. What if it was used to round up all of these pedos? What if it was used to round up all this Pizzagate folks? Huh? I'm just telling you what I see. What if? Thank you, Tennessee's daughter. I know. I had some clients this week who said that they wish that I could be able to publish. I'm gonna try to make an ebook out of this. I mean, I can't promise it to y'all. I already got enough on my plate. But can't promise it to y'all. But I'm gonna try my best. Yes, ma'am. Tennessee's daughter. That sounds like a good idea, dear. Right? What if this Rona and the lockdown is a precursor to what's coming down the pipe? And I'm not talking about medical, y'all. Forget that. Let's move away from the 5G talk, right? Because we've already covered all of that here. Because now we're seeing that the 5G, yes, we know it's bad. We know there's some shit that's popped off, whatever. But it was something bigger than that. Then we moved from 5G to mandatory vaccines. Now Trump has said, you ain't about to force my people to take the shit. This is what this man is basically saying. He's bucking against the system. So now let's move further. Let's move up, right? From vaccines. What is bigger and deeper than that? What if this shit is being used to round up and take to global court and be tried in the global courts of law? The biggest name, folks, and I'm talking about why some people say that's reaching. Why would they do that? Well, you know what? This is bigger than Hollywood. Because now you got the royal family and the Vatican involved. So explain to me, how big of a length would the anonymous have to go in order to persecute people who are literally above the law? Do you hear what I just said to you? We don't know. I'm just putting some stuff out there. Now remember, Trump is a Gemini. Remember I told y'all Geminis they can be fucking weirdos because they always having that internal conflict. Remember, that's that twin energy. But guess what? Geminis, in my opinion, air signs, we're intelligent, period. Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. We are the intelligence of the zodiac sign. Okay. Not saying that everybody else is dumb. That's not what I'm saying. But we are the swords. We are the intelligence. We are air. Okay. And Gemini has a way of being intelligent that goes beyond a Libra and an Aquarius if they don't already have it in their charts. What do I mean? Geminis will play stupid until they get to where they're going. Yeah, he did say he was going to drain the swamp. Right? I keep hearing stuff about Vincent Fuchsia and all this other shit. Thank you, Tennessee's daughter. That's right. I always tell y'all that's one of my mottos here at the Mystic Circle. I'm not telling y'all what to think. I'm telling y'all how to think. I'm showing y'all how to think. I'm just asking y'all to pay attention. That's correct. That's right, Angela Davis. You own it. Well, Candace, I use the word weird because that's how people are seen. Now, listen. Let's see, in Gemini fashion. Listen, I'm not up for the shits today. If y'all taking offense to stuff, I'm sorry. If you don't know my heart by now, guess what? I'm not gonna sit here and clean it up for y'all. We all grown enough to know that what I'm saying out my mouth should not be something that y'all should be taking personal. Okay? Because today is a different day. I'm on something different today. So just y'all hold on. I'm not responsible for sensitivity on y'all parts, right? Today is not my day that I'm going to be, because I'm in my teaching mode. Teaching means whatever you want. If you sucking milk right now, let's suck the milk. If you eat meat, let's eat the meat. Everybody going to get something out of this. I can't pussyfoot with y'all, right? Jesus born a cusp, right? Pisces, Aries, right? The mantra for Aries is I am. The mantra for Pisces is I believe. The mantra for Aquarius is I know. So whatever was true and is in truth in the last 2 ages will prove itself in this age. So whatever was spoken in the last 2 ages, right? Which basically is the Old and New Testament, the Quran. All these other things that have been exposed and brought to us in the age of Pisces and the age of Aries. Anything that can be shaken will be shaken. Anything that is true will remain on the tree. Anything that is false, when the tree is shaken, it will fall to the ground. That's why Jesus said, I am the beginning and the end. I am the root. I am the root of Jesse. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Because remember, he was born on the cusp. So he was always using the Aries mantra as I am. We've seen different parts of him that was Aries, right? When he went and flipped over the money tables, in the synagogues, because he knew that these people, which is the equivalencies of pastors of the day, of today, was raping the people spiritually. So he went in there and was flipping shit over. So it's safe to say, and let me just say this, it's safe to say that when you have a Christ consciousness, you ain't siding with Creflo Dollar Bill and TD Snakes. And, oh yeah, I'm going to say it. Why am I saying that? Because, you got people who have been brainwashed through televangelists and local pastors that you need to pay your attention. You don't need to pay nothing. What I suggest that if you want to keep scripture in context and you want to use Malachi 2 and 10 as a means to pay your 10% tithes to the church. If you want to do what the Lord say, Shando, according to scripture, and you want to pay your 10% tithes, I suggest that you get a garden, plant your seeds, take 10% of that garden's harvest, and then put it up there to the altar, dirt and all, so you can present your tithes, because that's what the fuck tithes was. You understand? It wasn't about my monies. Oh, well, yeah, we don't depend on that no more. Now we have currency. Oh, shut the fuck up. You said we're going to keep shit in context in scripture. We're going to do it in scripture. I'm going to bring you 10% of my dirt along with 10% of my fruits and vegetables that come up out of my ground. And you're going to love it. Since you that greedy. 3 and 8. Please forgive me. Malachi. I'm going to bring my tithes into the storehouse, all right? That's what the fuck goes into a storehouse. Fruits and vegetables and granary, not money. Because little did you forget, pastors, since y'all want to convolute everything else, let me come through the power and the spirit of the age of Aquarius, and let me use my Christ consciousness right now to alleviate the people of the burdens and the debts of having to pay 10% and feeling guilty about not paying 10% in this shit show of what we call lockdowns, okay, in 2020, which is 2012 in the Ethiopian calendar. What went into the storehouse in those days were kept for famine, this is a famine, okay? So all of you churchgoers who's been paying y'all 10% tithes, this is the time that your church should have stepped in and paid for your rent and all your bills. So the next time, if I were y'all, I would go to church, and guess what? I would be the one to stand up. And yes, you may look crazy, but who gives a fuck? Stand up and tell the pastor and start reading from Malachi. Bring your tithes into the storehouse. Start right there. And let them know I've been bringing my 10% tithes into your storehouse for however long you've been going to this church. Now, just like the days of Joseph, when he interpreted the dream of Pharaoh and said you was going to have 7 good years of yielding and harvest, and then these 7 bad years was going to come. And through the interpretation of the dream, he said, what? In your 7 years of abundance, put 10% away. Don't give me that Abraham shit about Abraham giving 10% to Melchizedek. Melchizedek was an Anunnaki who was neutral. Melchizedek had no beginning or no end. That's what the words say. Why? Because he wasn't human. Let's keep this shit in context. See, now the age of Aquarius is speaking. Build and fund my ass. You've been taking extra money from us for 20 some years. I'm in my 30s. And I still don't see a new roof on the damn church yet. And some of these pastors are real bold. They asking for $64 million jets. And these people are raising the money to give it to them. But guess what? It's sad that when they need money and they got a vision for a new jet for the church, they go to your ass. But when you come into a financial problem and you go to the church, they tell you pray and ask God. Well, next time they begging for something from y'all ass, y'all need to say pray and ask God. Don't come to me. See, they practical when it comes to them asking from you, but they want to be spiritual and caught up in deceit when it comes to you needing help. So a lot of y'all don't need to be flooding the churches when this shit is over with. A lot of y'all need to be protesting these churches. These nonprofit organizations should be put in place to help you in these times. Any pastor, and I'm going to call it out because I want to see, make this part go viral. Any pastor that owns a church that is not going to do right by the people, by their flock, and pay their bills during this time and make sure they ain't got no homeless folk walking in there and still begging for their money after this shit is over with. Y'all niggas don't need to be pastors no more. Y'all are wicked ass shepherds and y'all need to be struck from the head on down. Strike the shepherd and the sheep will be scattered. But y'all ain't preaching that because that means y'all motherfuckers need to be accountable and responsible. And y'all not. I wish a nigga would walk up in there. I want to see it. Y'all walk up in there raising y'all hands. And these people saying, oh, but God kept us. If the church had this much power, this whole shit would have went away. Show and demonstrate your power in times like this. I don't want to hear no sister so-and-so passed away from the coronavirus. We want her family to come up and we want to pray for the strength of her family. I don't want to hear no bullshit like that. If you said you had power, bitch, demonstrate. This is your time. Hold this shit is your time. You said you had power in the Holy Ghost. Show me. Lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. See, I used to be a minister, so I can say this stuff. I used to be an ordained minister in the church. And you know what? Guess what? You know why I got out? You know why I'm going to tell you why I got out. Because I could never sit in the pulpit. That was number one. I always sat in the pew amongst the people. Number two, every time I got up and I had a word, it was always for the reprimanding of those who sat on that pulpit. You're exalting yourself high and mighty, looking down on these people. And really, they're supposed to be the sheep, but you're treating them like shit. Every time I thought I had a nice word I can go say, guess what? I was always that prophet. That prophet is having to come and spank that ass. When I walk through the doors of the church, people would ask me, do I come peacefully? Let me tell you something. When you prophetic, when you intuitive, psychic, whatever the hell you want to call it, when you walking through doors, if people don't ask you if you don't come peacefully, you ain't doing your job. Prophesying houses and cars and shit, that don't mean nothing. What is today? What is happening today? They ain't like me when I was there. Oh, now I'm on fire now. For real, for real. Think I give a shit? I've had pastors get up in church and call me crazy. Rafiki over there crazy. After I didn't said a word to them to get their house in order. And then all of a sudden, all of the pastor's businesses floating out. And he's exposed in front of his congregation and got to hurry up and close the church. Because warning came before destruction out of my mouth. And I'm over here tussling with the spirit because I don't want to know. I don't want to say, pick somebody else. And then all of a sudden, I, without control of my body, stand up. Thus say the Lord. See, when you're real, people ain't going to like you. Think I give a fuck? Never have I ever been that kind. Don't come to me thinking I'm going to pull cards and tell you what you want to hear. Never been that type of person. That's how I gain my clients, because my clients who know me go out and tell other people, oh, have you got to read it for her? I think she's real. She going to tell it to you. I come to bring healing. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. You coming to me with a problem, I'm going to give you a solution. You coming to me with a question, I'm going to give you an answer. It's going to be a righteous answer. Did you know Aries actually starts the zodiac wheel in the Chaldean astrology? And it will end with Aries. Just like the full card. The full card is 0 and 22. Let me hurry up and get through this, because I ain't even touched the Age of Aquarius yet. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole done sent me a donation. Thank you, my dear. Oh, Lord, y'all love me. Y'all have no idea. Y'all I was able to pay some bills from that donation. Age of Aquarius. Water bearer. The glyph for the Age of Aquarius is this. It's the glyph that I'm using on the title of this. Thank y'all. I love y'all. We know that Pisces is a negative, and not negative. When I say negative, I'm talking about we have negative signs, positive signs, and I'm not talking about like energy. Okay. We know that Age of Aquarius is Pisces is feminine, but men, it was a masculine energy that rose up. Age of Aquarius is masculine, but there's going to be a lot of feminine energy rising. All right. This is the rise of the goddesses. Right. This is one of Aquarius is one of the oldest recognized zodiac signs. Did you know that? It's also known as the Great One in ancient Babylonian times, okay? Which was representing Babylonian god Ea, or the father of the Anunnakis, who was responsible or seen flooding the earth during the times of Noah. Okay? I'm an Aquarius moon too. Oh, Tennessee's daughter. Thank you, dear. You said, funny, you're a Pisces sun, Aquarius moon. No sugarcoating. That's right, baby. I don't sugarcoat. Well, yeah, Candace, you still with me? Listen, you see, sometimes you gotta check on your people. You know when you mean well. You ain't trying to hurt nobody, but sometimes just there, baby. No notification? Well, you already know what time it is. Hey, girl, bye. My lieutenant mod. Girl, bye. Hey, you here? You been here? Go ahead on, Candace. Okay, Latin. Aquarius is Latin. Hey, baby mystic. Hey. I'm talking about planets. Yeah. Latin for water carrier or cup bearer. Okay, Aquarius. That's what it means. Water, I know, huh? Water bearer. Now, the constellation is found in the religion called the sea. I'm sorry. Constellation. The constellation for Aquarius is found in a region called the sea in the sky, right? So then we have Luke 21, verses 25 through 27. Water bearer, right? Then we have what is the celestial longitude of 300 degrees to 330 degrees. Remember, Pisces was 330 degrees to 360. I was born underwater with $3.06. Well, you may laugh because you did not do your math. Fulfilling of the Piscean age going into the Age of Aquarius. You're going to have to be quiet. Shh. So during this time, when I was getting ready to start my studies on the Age of Aquarius, I kept getting this, spirit was whispering to me almost like in an physical audible voice. And I was like, what I kept hearing was, look up the great deluge. Look up the great deluge. Look up the great deluge. And that woke me up out of, remember I told y'all this was one of the reasons why it was taking so long to come to y'all about this. The great deluge of collective consciousness is what I got. The word deluge is a noun, and it means severe flood, right? So I said to myself, okay, as we talking about Noah right now, hey, Pa, hey, B, hey, Boo, hey, Boo, hey, Pa, wow, 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 wow. Give me a kiss. We got to be quiet, okay? Give me a kiss. Okay. Okay. The baby, the great deluge of collective consciousness. So I'm thinking to myself, like, what is this? This gotta be Noah. No. So remember I told you I was gonna be using scripture to prove these astrological points, right? Well, guess what? Joel 2:28, Acts 2:17, Numbers 11:17. This is basically what's going to happen in these times right now. That I am going to pour my spirit out on all flesh, and your sons and your daughters is going to prophesy. Your young men is going to have visions, and your old men is going to have dreams. Your maiden servants, she going to be prophesying. The man cutting the grass going to be prophesying. The man putting on the roof going to be prophesying. The woman counting the money at the bank, she going to start prophesying. Everybody going to get an infilling. Why? Because there's a collective consciousness. Yes, Carla Brown, you right. You're going to be a singer. Right? I'm going to pour my Joel 2:28. Go and read it if you want to. Acts 2:17. Anybody who want to look it up and post it in the chat room right now, that would be beautiful. He already does. That's right. So remember. Jesus, at the age of 30, just take away a 0. You got the beginning of the celestial longitude, right? This is what I'm going to use to prove my point, y'all. Okay. Though he was a Pisces, he came in the spirit of Aquarius. This is why a lot of people could not comprehend him, and he had to speak in parables. Because even though he was born for that time, even though he was born in that time, he was not born for that time. He was just a trailblazer, right? A foot runner for what was to come. That's the reason why he was sent. His consciousness was sent through a body. Let's put emphasis on the consciousness that he brought, the awakeness that he brought. Religion comes to make him out of a god, but Aquarius comes to make him out of a consciousness. This is the movement. Why do I say that? Because guess what? When you can kill somebody like Marcus Garvey, his consciousness will watch this. I just was telling somebody on the phone this yesterday, a client. Newton's law becomes into effect. Energy is not created nor destroyed, but transferred from one party to the next. So here you got Marcus Garvey, who dies of a broken heart, which is a heart attack, because his people couldn't grab the consciousness. They used W.E.B. Du Bois and the Black Boule to thwart the people from the message that Marcus Garvey was bringing. See, y'all don't want to hear none of this, because a lot of y'all, W.E.B. Du Bois, oh yes, they had the Harlem Renaissance. You know why the Harlem Renaissance came to be? To be the sole reason why your ancestors didn't listen to Marcus Garvey. Okay? It's tight, but it's right. Some of y'all won't hear it. Okay? And let me just tell y'all something. When he passed, his consciousness went to someone else. Okay? Martin Luther King is a perfect example. Martin Luther King is a perfect example of what happens when there's an awakeness throughout the journey, while on the journey. Okay? I'll explain to you what I mean. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe. Pisces. Believe. We shall overcome someday. Well, what day is that? He went from believing that we shall overcome. And Martin Luther King translated himself into an Aquarius energy coupled with an Aries energy. Now we're going to go and get what's due to us. Now I know I'm moving away from believing. Because see, believing means to have faith, not seeing something, but actually believing that it exists, even though you can't see it. Now he went from a belief to a knowing. And that's when he was assassinated. As long as he pushed the age of Pisces, that illusion, that deception, he was all right. But honestly, he didn't know he was pushing an illusion. He didn't know that he was pushing a deception, because deep down in his heart, he believed that integration was key. But when he began to hit that Aquarius, he said, for I perceive I have integrated my people into a burning house. Go in the hole. Go in the hole, buddy. Get it, dog. Talking to my dog. What'd I say? Oh, hold on, y'all. This dog growling at my baby. So then you have, watch this. He's now starting to vibrate where Malcolm X was when he was in the NOI, right? But we got to change in Malcolm X. What's happening with Malcolm X? He went from vibrating to by any means necessary to something a little bit higher. There's a collective consciousness. I went to Mecca and seen people from all different walks of life, all different nationalities, walking around the black box, praying. Huh? He began to see a collective consciousness. So he vibrated from hatred to collective consciousness to say, we are better together and we can dismantle them with those of like minds, not just the background of color and race. If we all can vibrate on the same frequency, no matter what background, religion, or whatever we come from, we can come together and stand up together and knock the back of the chess pieces off of us, of what the ruling powers of this time is playing chess on our back. We can destroy their game. He's on. So we move from the baptism of water of Pisces. Remember, Jesus couldn't do nothing until he was baptized by water. He was the age of 30, which is 300 degrees. He died at 33, right? 330 degrees. So he came in the spirit of Aquarius. You said your Pisces sun is only 3. And he said, Mama, be happy, kids. Know when you're feeling down. Oh, Ashley, let me tell you something. What I'm gonna say something to you. What the children that our generation, 80s babies, and the generation that we have birthed, that is the generation that is Christ conscious. That is the Christ conscious. We are to hold the torch for these babies and guard them and protect them with our lives, because these are the ones who are going to turn the tables over. They ain't gonna wait for the tables to turn. These little bitty ones we got, they the Christ conscious ones. We are too. I'm not taking away from us, but they're born with a different vibration. You can tell. My son talks about planets and different other shit all the time. We got kids. I'm talking about rainbow babies, indigo babies, starseed babies, all of this stuff. These babies coming born with the consciousness. They ain't even being taught the consciousness. You hear what I'm trying to tell you? That's why he said These works shall you do, and greater works than these. You know why? Because the baptism of collective consciousness, this is pouring the Spirit out on all flesh, right? This is being baptized by Spirit. Isaiah 44:3, Isaiah 49:26. Aquarius is a democratic sign. Not in the sense of Democratic versus Republicans, but FUBU, for us, by us, for the people, by the people. It's human rights. It's freedom. It's also known as the age of the lily. Remember, Pisces is also known as the age of deception. Aquarius is known as the age of the lily. I am the lily in the valley, bright and morning star. Age of the lily, age of purity, lily in the valley. Only the pure in heart, which is the meek. Matthew 5:5, the meek shall inherit the earth. Only the pure in heart will be able to understand and comprehend the awareness that leads the way. That's why I told y'all before, everybody ain't gonna get it. Some will be taken and some will be left. Those who are left is going to see the fulfillment. Those who are taken are going to be destroyed. Let's get into the symbol. Air sign, bearing water tendencies. The Aquarius glyph, which looks like this in black, represents energy flow or wavelength. Frequencies, vibrations, right? The Aquarius glyph also means waters above and waters below. So here we are having the Aquarius man getting his waters from the heavens and pouring them down to earth. So he's merging the physical world with the spiritual world. This is why I'm telling y'all the veil is already gone. It's only a matter of time that we see that. Okay? The veil is lifted. So we're going to be seeing more people talking about seeing spiritual animals or spiritual beings and different things like that more now so than ever. We're going to start seeing celestial things. Because the veil is already gone now. It's only a matter of time. All right. This duality, which is the waters above and the waters below, comes from this duality becomes one. Air is spirituality, intellect, and communication. Because remember, Aquarius is an air sign. The water bearer gets his water from the heavenly realm and pours it below. This is a merge of physical and spiritual. It's also bringing what is in the spiritual realm, which exists already, okay, to be revealed in the physical world. So those things that exist already in the heavenly realm, the truth of that is going to be poured down into the earthly realm. That's why I said in this age, we will see what you call Anunnaki. I do believe that. I believe that in the Aquarian age, Nibiru and all that other shit going to visit. I believe that. I believe there's going to be an unveiling of some stuff. I do believe that. Now, when? I don't know. But will we see it? I really do believe that. In most ancient depictions, Aquarius represent the mercy of the gods. Okay? Thank you, girl. Bye. Now, the ruling planet now of Aquarius is Uranus. Uranus ruled in a time before time. Okay? Uranus. Uranus ruled in a time before time, which means ancient of days. Okay? That was another name for Uranus, ancient of days, which brings no power limits. Saturn used to rule Aquarius at one time. Saturn is also the god Chronos, right? Time. Saturn overthrew Uranus and created laws and regulations. This is according to what, Greek or Roman mythology. I want to say Greek mythology. Uranus is also known as the planet of awakening or the awakener. Aquarius and Uranus together brings great upheavals that are necessary to break free from restrictions in favor of a more liberated path. Okay? So knowing that the traditional ruler Saturn, which is the great teacher slash father time. The modern ruler is now Uranus, father sky, or god of heavens. Uranus is the only planet that rotates on its sides, which means a vertical rotation. So it's not rotating like this, it's rotating like this. The only one, which means as above, so below, vertical, as above, so below. So it makes sense of why Uranus is more, it goes better with Aquarius, because you got the waters above coming down to the waters below. Uranus is a planet that represents freedom, right? That holds on to revolutionary vision. Uranus pushes for change and new possibilities. Uranus breaks Aquarians away from the traditions and restrictions of Saturn. Mental studies, astrology, electricity is also ruled by Uranus. This is why in the book of David, the book of Daniel, the prophet Daniel said that the end times that was going to bring an increase in technology. We see that technology upgraded itself in the Piscean age. That's what it meant, right? So the end of times, it's already end of time now. Now we began a new age. So we know that electricity is ran by Uranus. Okay. Greek mythology. Uranus is an old Grecian god who ruled the universe, whose names meant sky / heaven. He is the husband of Gaia, Mother Earth. He is also her son, right? So now watch this. If you know of Tammuz and Semiramis or Semiramis, you know that this was a woman who gave birth to her son and ended up marrying her son as when he got older. This is also, if you do a deep study of Nimrod, this is also the story of Nimrod. Now, what is older than this story? Isis, Osiris, Horus. If you do a study on that, you will see how similar this is, right? Right? Gaia, or Mother Earth, allegedly conceived Uranus without a husband / father. Sounds familiar? Some say his father is Ether, or Ether, right? Which is spirit. But Ether is known as the god of chaos in Greek mythology. So it goes back to Genesis, right? The earth was without form or void, right? It was without form and it was void. That word void in Hebrew means chaos. Uranus is the alarm clock of the planetary systems, delivering shocks and big surprises. It's a planet of breakthroughs and triggering events unexpectedly. Well, we entered the age of Aquarius with a bang, didn't we? You're miserable. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I wrote one. I wrote this, okay? Listen to this example. So you're miserable at your job. And let's say you've done your natal chart and you got a chart for this year. How will the planets be transitioning through your houses, right, for this year? You're miserable at your job and all of a sudden Uranus comes and moves a certain way in your chart. And you get fired, right? Now you're shocked, but you have a chance to change the course. You're shocked. Even though you didn't like your job, you're shocked. But Uranus moved to come and set you free. Now you're sad because like, how I'm going to pay my bills? Oh my God, I'm stuck with this. Of course you go through the worry. But guess what? You're not looking at it the way you should. Here comes Aquarius through the spirit of Uranus. It's saying, here's a revolutionary change. I'm going to push you to rewrite your destiny. You don't have to be stuck at this fucked up job. Uranus is responsible for midlife crisis. Did you know that? It is a proven fact that Uranus, around the age of 40, moves through everybody's chart around the age of their 40s, right? When Uranus opposes your natal Uranus, which occurs around age 40, you suddenly want to break the shackles that keep you from really living, right? Uranus also pushes the fight against social injustices. It's about destroying the old and creating the new. This is why when people, all their life, their family has been about long hair. And then all of a sudden, around age of 40, you just need this change. Oh my God, I just need a change. And all of a sudden, for the first time in your life, you cut your hair in a bob and you love it. It's freeing. It's beautiful. It's like, oh my God. And then everybody's figuring out, oh my God, you cut all that beautiful long hair off. And you're like, oh, get the fuck over it. Or you're in that marriage that you've been wanting to get out of. Here comes 40. You want to change. I'm sorry. I got to go. Right? This is that midlife crisis. People always want to know, oh, she's having a midlife crisis. Well, guess what? Not as bad as you think it is, right? Because when Uranus opposes your natal Uranus, which occurs around age 40, this is when they call midlife crisis. See, people will put a negative spin and a negative connotation on shit they don't understand. That's being negative. Why call it a midlife crisis? Why not a midlife awakening? That's what I would want to call it. Because it's going to push you to change for the better. It's going to push you to break away from shit that has had you locked down for majority of your life. Let's talk about decadence. Every zodiac sign has a decadent. Now, this is the most important part to me. I'm on 37%. Thank you, Scorpio Sun. She sent me a donation. Thank you, Nakia, sent me a donation. Thank you, Miss Chase. You sent me a donation. Bless your hearts, man. Y'all can tell I'm not used to donations. I'm reacting. 3 decadents or deacons of Aquarius, right? Hey. He's mimicking me. You hear him? He's mimicking me. Thank you. Love you too, dear. Pisces is the opposite of Virgo, right? Or the accompanying sign of Pisces is Virgo. So we have the sun and the mother sign, right? This is the reason why they say immaculate conception, but we know immaculate conception is not true. In order for anyone to come on in this 3-dimensional plane, they all must be born from a sperm and an egg. Okay? There is a hidden book that they took out of the Bible. Solomon is responsible for. It's called The Wisdoms of Solomon, I believe. The book of the Wisdoms of Solomon. You will see that Solomon says that anybody who basically comes into this earth has to be born of a mother and a father. So we know that Jesus Christ was not born of immaculate conception. It actually does not even go in detail in the Bible and says that he was born of immaculate conception. This is stuff that people have said, okay? The way that Jesus Christ was conceived was the fact that Joseph, now listen, it can be proven through scripture. Joseph and Mary was having sex before the traditional marriage. Okay? And the reason why he wanted to put her away, according to what the Bible says, he wanted to put her away quietly. Okay? Some people say, oh, he wanted to get rid of her quietly. No. It was because he couldn't explain how she got pregnant. That's a lie. He wanted to hide her quietly because in traditional marriage of those times, you had to prove that the wife was a virgin. Before, now the word virgin does not mean hymen intact. The traditional word virgin in the Hebrew language means a girl of marriageable age. Has nothing to do with she ain't had sex for the first time. Let's do that. Now, why am I so confident in what I'm saying? Because I've done my research. Okay? I've done the research already. I'm trying to help you out. Joseph was going to have to put a white sheet on the bed, break her hymen, have sex with her, and then come out and show both sides of the family, because they was going to be waiting outside, waiting for them to have sex, waiting for them to be done with the sex, for blood to be on this white sheet to prove that she was a virgin. This is how the ancient times ruled. This is how they did it. Because the man's family had to pay a dowry or lobola or a bride price for the woman. So in order for the transaction to be complete, he had to prove she was a virgin. You say word virgin, but someone who has not had sex. Okay, that's how it went. Now, how do I know this to be true? Because there's certain parts in Africa that still does this shit to this day. Ask me, I used to live in Africa. There's certain parts in African countries that still goes by this till this day. Okay, the Bible says that King Herod in those days was looking to kill children born ages 2 and under because he got word from a wicked psychic or a wicked prophet or whatever you want to call it, got word that a baby was going to be born with a higher consciousness, okay? And that you need to kill it off. This is modern day COINTELPRO, all right? Now, you stupid if you think these governments is not using astrologers, boo. You dumb. These people are numerologists and astrologers. They do everything by numbers and they do everything by alignment. And here you are thinking that this shit don't mean nothing in your life. And the people who are native to the so-called Middle East will tell you they never called it the Middle East. They called it Greater Africa or Upper Africa, right? It was called Upper Africa at the time. You had the lower straits and the higher straits. This is what that was called. The Suez Canal, they did all of that to fuck up the name. Do your research. Everything I'm telling you can be researched and proven true. Don't believe me. Do your research. So the man was not born of immaculate conception. He was born of a mother and a father who were so in love they couldn't wait. They screwed each other before the traditional marriage. So she ran from Herod, who was trying to kill newborn children. The Bible said they ran to Egypt. Now, last time I checked, Egypt is black. Egypt is in Africa. Ancient Egypt with nothing but black folk. How can a so-called white family hide and blend in with the children and the people of Egypt? That's beyond me. Because they blended in. The Bible said they went and hid within the people of Egypt. Same thing with Moses. Mama gave birth to a baby with higher consciousness. Put him in the bulrushes. Went down the stream. The daughter of Pharaoh caught the baby. Found the baby. Lied and told her daddy. All of a sudden she didn't croak out a baby. How can you hide a white baby in a black house? Let me know. Trying to tell you who the ancient people are. Hear me. If you ain't caught it, it's you with your scattered ass. I'm trying to help you. Let's get in the 3 decadents or the 3 deacons. I got something that I want to share with y'all real quick. Did you know that the ruler of the 3rd deacon for Virgo is Taurus? And the constellation that rules that deacon is called Corona Borealis, which means the northern crown. It rules this deacon. And Corona Borealis represents sacrificial efforts required to work for a good cause, making it the crown of thorns. Not by accident they calling this shit coronavirus. Now we know that the word corona we know that the word, this crown virus had existed way back in the day. But why now call this movement what existed before? They could have chose another word. And then they say that because how it looks underneath a microscope, it looks like crowns. I'm trying to tell y'all, it's not by accident. Taurus, deacon of Virgo, ruled by Venus, calls to a higher sense of love, choosing duty over desires. Now, this is going to mean something when I get through these deacons. The 3 deacons of Aquarius. The decanate, which is a noun, or aka deacon, this is the meaning of it. It's 3 divisions of a zodiac sign at 10 degrees each. Okay? Now, I'm going to explain this to y'all later. We know Aquarius is air, right? The equinox pointer back through zodiac, and so the 3rd Aquarius deacon is first. So the first ruler, the second ruler, and the third ruler of deacons, right? I'll explain to y'all what that is. The first ruler of deacon of Aquarius is 0 to 10 degrees. Uranus. The zodiac that goes with this deacon is Aquarius, which is air. So if you're born January 21st through the 29th, you fall under the first deacon ruler, right? This is when I said Uranus comes and you're moving through. You're a true Aquarian. You're a true Aquarius. If you're born January 21st through the 29th. Now the deacons explains to you why certain, let's say there's 3 Aquarius folks in my chat room, okay, right now. One of y'all, all of y'all may not share the same birthday. So whereas you have an Aquarius that is independent over here, right? This Aquarius feels the need to get into love relationships for no reason. And it's a different type of Aquarius energy. And you're like, well, you know, all Aquarians are the same. This tells you why. I'm giving y'all some free shit now because this is something that's going to be in my astrology class when I get all of the material together, because I'm going to pre-record my classes from now on, so it can be from start to finish. I don't want to be bogged down by doing something like live, okay, and then something happens and I gotta quit, and I don't want to do all that. So this right here, right? The first rule of deacon, 0 to 10 degrees, Uranus. Aquarius rules this. Anybody who's born in January 21st to the 29th, you are the first. You are a true Aquarius. Second ruler, deacon, 10 degrees to 20 degrees. Mercury is your sign. Gemini rules this deacon. You're an Aquarius Gemini, born January 30th to February 8th. The third ruler, deacon, 20 degrees to 30 degrees. Venus is your sign of your planet. You are a Libra Aquarius. You're Aquarius Libra, February the 10th to February the 19th. Okay? Now, what constellation rules the third deacon? Remember, I told y'all the third deacons go first because the equinox pointer goes backwards through the zodiac. We're moving backwards through the zodiac. So you start at the third deacon first. Cetus, keywords pronunciation as a noun. Rejection of belief. Claims or course of action. Now, Cetus is, watch this, is depicted by a sea monster. Or some people say a whale in some cultures. Some people say a dragonfish. This sea creature symbolizes discord. Okay? So the third deacon, this is the energy that we're in right now. Okay? Now I'm going to break down to y'all something of what it says as far as astrology, and then I'm applying it to today. So see, this reveals that the greatest discord is a loveless marriage. And this is what I wrote. Could this be the time of divorcing world powers? The symbol, which is the whale or sea dragon or sea monster, with Cetus is the tendency to enter a marriage for reasons other than love. This is the deacon of repression, right? Subduing one by force. This is for my February the 10th to February the 19th people. Now, what does that mean? Divorcing world powers. We see a lot of truth coming up right now about the world's powers in the world system, right? Right? So, Cetus, Pisces, the 2 fish, remember, are tied together with a cord that's connected to the neck of Cetus. It's connected to the neck. If you look up the constellation Cetus, you will see that at the back of this sea monster's neck is a ring. Going through that ring is a cord. The ends of this cord is tied to the tails of those 2 fish, Pisces, that's trying to oppose themselves and swim in different directions. Right? Ain't that beautiful? Ain't that deep? It is deep, eh? This represents a beastly mindset or a carnal system that influences religions of the Piscean agendas, or the Pisces age, the religious agendas, right? Second Esdras. This is how you spell it. I've been telling y'all about this. Second Esdras, chapter 6, verses 7 through 10. It talks about Esau and Jacob. The prophet Ezra asked the angel the question, when is the ending of this age and when is the beginning of the next? And he said, it's just like Esau and Jacob being born out of the womb. You know, Esau came first, but Jacob was holding on to the heel of his brother as he was being born. So it was a continuum. There was no break. In other words, you ain't getting a break coming out from Pisces to Aquarius. You're going to go right on in and it's going to be chaos from the start. It says, could see this. Now watch this. I'm going to put something on y'all spirit. Could this sea monster, be the evil beast that is empowered by the dragon in Revelation 13? Question asked. Now, I'm going to be leaving these three deacons. Hey, I'm going to be leaving these three deacons of Aquarius open-ended because I want y'all to do your own research on these deacons. The second deacon, remember we're moving backwards because the exonaut pointer moves backwards through the zodiac. The second one, which is ruled by Mercury. So you are in Aquarius Gemini, January 30th to February 8th. Pegasus rules you. What is the key word for this? Inspiration. Remember Pegasus, right? Pegasus, a white horse with wings, which gave him the ability to fly to and from mortal and immortal realms. This is important. This is important. This is important right here. Because this is the deacon. When this is activated, because remember, we're in the third right now, but when we're in the second, we're going to know. The second deacon, we're going to be granted the ability to travel to other realms. It's funny because if you look up Donald Trump, time traveling, there is a clip that is a little bit over 2 minutes long. I think like 2 minutes and maybe 30 something seconds long, where he is talking about getting rid of traveling by plane as we know it. This is him talking about using a faster means of traveling. Could he be using portal pads to travel? You remember like on Star Trek, you stand on a pad and then you get disintegrated into particles and then you get reassembled back onto the other portal. It translated you from over here to over here. Whereas you can step on a pad right here in Italy and gets transported all the way to Hawaii. I'm just saying, what if? Telepathy is going to be more common in this deacon age, in Pegasus. It's going to be more common. Mercury can send and receive messages by invisible means. So remember, Mercury is the flash, right? Those who tap in during this time will have access to unlimited resources. This is the unlimited resources. The woman in the Bible who came across, this is what leads me to believe that Elijah and Elisha was operating under this part, was because it was a famine in the land, and he came to her and he said, "Hey, can you bake me a cake? I'm on a journey." She said, "Look, I only got enough flour and oil to bake me and my son a cake and die." Because her husband had died and left her in debt. Okay, this is a biblical story. And he said, all right, I'm going to perform this miracle. So he performed some magic, because let's just call it for what it was. He performed some magic. And this woman ended up baking him a cake, right? And he went on his journey. When the man left her house, the woman's oil vial kept filling up with oil. Every time she would go in to get flour, and while she was to her last down to her last, it would fill back up. Okay? Unlimited resources. Pegasus, which is a Greek word for pega, meaning to spring forth. Gushing, right? The second deacon of Aquarius is all about being refreshed and live in living waters. John 4:14. Pegasus means we will be able to live in two realms at one time. Didn't Revelation say heaven will be on earth? I'm trying to help y'all understand what the Bible is trying to tell you. It's all about astrology and numerology and spell work. This is where we will be able to do greater works. The meaning of the celestial constellation for Pegasus is he who returns from afar. This is Jesus Christ consciousness coming down on a cloud. This is when it will most likely happen. Or maybe they will try to fake it in our times right now. But guess what? When we are under the second deacon in the Aquarius, in the age of Aquarius, that's when I believe it's going to happen for real. I got 15% left, which I timed it really good because this is where I come to my last. And as you can see, I hardly have anything on here. Why? It's because I purposely, through spirit, through the coercing of spirit, as I was writing down, I was told to leave this open-ended. I'm giving y'all homework, okay? I'm giving y'all homework. The first deacon, for all my Aquarius folks, y'all are true Aquarians, ruled by Uranus, January 21st through the 29th. You fall under here. First deacon, Aquilus. The key word for this is originality. This is a Latin word for little horse, and this deacon brings total liberty and independence. This outpouring brings no lack. This is when Christ consciousness and collective consciousness is made concrete. This is a very powerful part of this teaching. However, I would like for you to do some homework on this part. Why? Because this will open up your eyes. You say you don't read the Bible at all, you only ripped up the pages of something. Hey, do what you gotta do, Rico. But y'all know I told y'all that I was going to be, giving y'all scripture so I can show y'all how much of astrology rules the Bible. I wanted to kind of, make y'all comfortable with understanding that man took that book and fucked it up and convoluted it, right? Just like the Quran, it's something is valuable in that book. Y'all got to take this stuff for what it is and not what it was like preached to y'all for. A lot of y'all went and burned y'all Bibles down to the ground, and that's fine. Y'all no longer Christians. I get it. I'm not a Christian. Just keep it into the context. I'm trying to help y'all look at it because a lot of people are saying, well, God got to be real. Jesus got to be real because, the prophecies are happening. Yes, they're happening because it was due to astrology. Okay. This man used astrology to get his point across. And that's what a lot of folks is not. So do you think it's by accident that they told you stay away from witchcraft, or the Bible says stay away from witchcraft, stay away from don't do this, don't do that? Well, they got their reasons of saying why they're saying. A lot of people took this Bible and took a lot of important parts out. They took a lot of books out that should have been in there. And they put their own emphasis in, because they knew that they wanted to use this book as a means to rule the world. And as they did. Right? I like that Scorpio 16. My aunt say it all the time. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's right. That's right. Eat the meat, chew out the bone. And I'm only using this book because remember, this is one of the most this is the famous book throughout the world, the Bible. So I'm only proving to y'all that there's astrology in this book. And what did Jesus really bring? I don't think that he was not a man. I do believe that he was a real man, but I don't believe that he was to be worshiped. There is no scripture in the Bible that tells you that Jesus said to worship him. Challenge me. Challenge me. Challenge me. I put up a challenge. I put up a challenge. I'll give you a mystery reward or prize, mystery prize, to anybody who can prove to me that Jesus Christ in scripture said, worship me. Bow down, worship me. Don't give me that I and my Father is one, and if you worship God, you worship him. No, that's lies. Because guess what? When you marry somebody, you become one. Now, does that mean that your body merged with that person's body? No. But you are bound together in holy matrimony because it's a ritual that happens. Right? Y'all still keep the same bodies. Y'all still got your own separate mind. It's just that y'all are husband and wife. Y'all are joined as one. Which means if you do my husband wrong, you do me wrong. Or if you do the wife wrong, you do the husband wrong. All right? Let's make it make sense. I'm going to say it again. Jesus Christ never said to worship him. That is idolatry. The Christian faith is in idolatry. Okay? Call it for what it is. The Christian faith is in idolatry. Ooh, don't that just hit you when you look at it like that? Anybody who worships Jesus is in idolatry. Anybody who worships Jesus Christ is in idolatry. There's nothing wrong with tapping into his consciousness. There's nothing wrong with exalting what he may have said. Because see, now when I say may have said, that means you got to decipher what real from the fake. Because remember, people added to and convoluted his words. You ever was in a classroom where your teacher whispered into the ear of a kid and said, pass this along? I remember I grew up in there. I had a black teacher who did that. She said, I'm going to show y'all how stuff get distorted before it gets to the last person. She put us in a line. And she said she literally wrote down on a piece of paper what she told the first student. By the time we got to the last student, it was all fucked up. Just showing you how words can get messed up. That's what we call the two telephone. We're going to play telephone. Candace, you're right. Anytime somebody bowed at Jesus' feet, he told them, get up. Not only that, but let me put something on you. Let me put something on you. Because even though this is a Christ consciousness, and that's what it's going to be coming down to, where no nations is going to, it doesn't matter about what tongue or language you speak or where you come from. It's about the mindset, right? But let me just tell you something. Jesus didn't come for everybody. He made that very clear. The woman, the Shunammite woman whose daughter was grievously vexed with a demon, came to him. And she said, I heard you doing miracles. Can you please do a miracle for my daughter? She's vexed. She's fighting. She's possessed with a demon and she's fighting it. And he said, I'm only sent to the house of Israel. Meaning, I'm only sent to the Israelites. I ain't sent to the Gentiles, baby. Called her a dog. I ain't sent to the dogs. And then she turned around with wit. I loved it. She said, even the dogs eat the crumbs from the master table. Ooh. Now you got to do a miracle for a woman who she pressing. She like, I don't care. You can call me a dog all you want. I just want my daughter saved. I just want my daughter healed. Right? So let's just be real. He wasn't sent to everybody. His consciousness is for everybody. But at that time, in that time frame, in the physical time frame, he was sent to the house of Israel to restore the house of Israel. Black folk. I'm just calling it how I'm just telling you how it is. I gotta go. I got 5%. Kelvin, thank you. I see you sent me a donation. Maya, you sent me a donation. Thank you, beloved. Melissa, you sent me a donation. Thank you, sweetheart. Much love to y'all. I hope I helped y'all today. I hope I did something for y'all today. Did I teach? Maybe sort of, kind of. Y'all know I love y'all. Well, y'all know I'm gonna leave this up because, of course, this was a teaching. But I gotta go because if I don't, it's at 4% now. If I don't, I don't know if it's gonna save. So y'all already know what time it is. Thank you for hitting that like button and subscribing. I just want to enlighten y'all to what time it is. And it's honestly an exciting time to be alive. And the line in the sand is being drawn. Either you're going to be on the side of faith or you're going to be on the side of fear. There is no in between. And we can even see that now, how this economy is honestly going to be getting rid of middle class altogether. It's going to be rich and poor. But with all turns of the centuries, with any Great Depression, you can, if you look close, you can see that the rich was mostly affected, and the poor began to innovate ways on how to do business with each other. So then the playing field flipped sides, where now the rich became more on the poor side, and then the poor begin to rise up and become more wealthy. So use this time wisely. There's an energy of wealth to be grabbed by us, who they call us the common folk, right? Quote unquote, the common folk. I love y'all. Be safe, and until next time. Oh, you said celebrities asking for donations. You know what? We all awakening today. We know that they were agents. They were agents used to keep us deceived in the. I don't know if the world is going to go back to really giving these celebrities attention. I'm serious, because Hollywood now is going to have to be innovative. I don't think that, because they not all in our face. You know what I'm saying? And when you get used to not seeing stuff in your face, it's like when it comes back. Like, let me just tell y'all, you're going to see people doing exposés on new shit that Hollywood is going to be pumping out, because we've had time to disconnect and stay out of, they're not in our faces. So by the time they put, we're going to be able to see symbolisms and different things as evil so quickly now, because we've been unplugged. Well, I've been unplugged. I'm just saying we, because I'm just trying to include myself with y'all. But a lot of y'all y'all evolved y'all life around these folks. Y'all gonna be able to see it now more than ever. The evilness is gonna be easily seen now. All right, I'm at 2%. Love y'all. You right. Time is up. You right. Until the next time, be safe, be prosperous. Let's continue to push this collective consciousness. Love y'all.